The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
You have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Happy New Year, sort of, kind of, almost. I'm Chris. Yeah, right? Like, depending on when we get it posted, it's either like the last one of 2021 or the first one of 2022. Either way. Yeah, it's the year in wrap up. Wrap up. Nobody. 30 Rock. That's a deep pull. Remember when Liz Lemon had to write the rap song for Jack Donaghy's wife, who had just recently been released from North Korea? So she made a rap song about everything that happened in 2012. Hold on. We have the ability to bring this up. Apparently analog weed makes me forget how to type. All right, whatever. My computer apparently isn't going to work today. But anyway, yeah. Her whole hook is, it's a year-end wrap-up. And that's why I said that. Well, the show's starting out great.
There you go. Yeah, so, I don't know. What was 2021? Pretty stupid year, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
It wasn't much.
Oh, stand by. Never mind. Fucking computer. Well, I got weed for Christmas, like legal weed for like.
That's a good way to wrap up the year.
Yeah, like I have a friend who's now a supervisor for a trimmer, and apparently to combat theft, they just give him weed. Like he said, like his first couple days when he was being training, he said that's a question they asked, and he's like, "How do you combat theft?" He's like, "We just give it to him." Oh, really? He's like, "Yeah." Because also it gets the product out there circulating as well. So like all of the stoner friends that he had, we all had a little holiday get together. He pulled us out in the garage, like, this for you, and this one's for you, and this one's for you. Like,
Oh, wow.
No shit.
So what do you mean? They just give out weed if you work for these places? I mean, I don't know how this works.
Well, it's an operation. Like I guess
Sure.
it's like
I know it's legit, and that's the thing is like I've talked to a lot of people lately who have been like, oh, my buddy started doing this and that, and he gave me all this stuff to try out, and I was like, yeah, right, try it, and they're like, no, this is totally legit. Like they've got, totally packaged edibles and stuff like that they've received, and they're like, they're just giving it away so people can try it out and get the word out.
Well, I mean,
It's like, okay, that makes sense, but how come I can't make these friends?
right. Well, hey, you used to work in a music store, right?
Yeah, sure.
Remember promos?
Yeah.
I'm sure the same thing exists in the weed business. Like a certain amount
Right.
is written off to just give away.
Right. But that as an idea also to combat theft is interesting.
Well, yeah, I think he said something like every time they work, they get an eighth, like the trimmers. Like you get to take an eighth home every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, how you gonna? Yeah, fuck yeah, you're gonna combat theft that way.
Yeah.
If you crunch the math on what they're trimming every day versus what you're letting them
sure.
take home,
It's
hell
nothing,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. I'm sure it's peanuts.
Yeah.
I also heard these trimmers work 12 hours a week and make $40,000 a year. Man, I just need to get a couple trim jobs, right?
When you factor in what they're not spending on weed, that $40,000 looks pretty fat, actually.
So yeah, like right,
Like, back out your weed consumption.
well, that's like an added value raise.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be an eighth a week, but it's still an eighth of something, right? You're still getting at least a
sure.
free eighth a week, But yeah, it could be it could be every time they work. But yeah, he said these trimmers work 12 hours a week and make $40,000 a year. So there's also that.
12 hours
That's
a
what I'm
week.
saying. I need to just get a couple trim gigs, work 24 hours a week,
I don't.
and be in the fucking, be in the upper class tax bracket.
Yeah, and why is this it doesn't seem like a highly skilled position, right? No,
I know how to
what
trim. I got a buddy who grows. He's
Right.
taught me how to do it for when he harvests.
Yeah.
And guess what? When I go over there and I do it, he gives me free weed.
But it's like, I mean, yeah, you got to know what you're doing. I'm not saying like any idiot could just walk up and trim weed, but if you sat down with somebody for an hour and showed them how to do it, they'd be set.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, oh, we're going to put you on the training desk for a week. Here's some dummy weed that you can trim.
I think what you're getting at is in 20 years, this is a minimum wage job. If you could teach any moron to do it, like it's not a skilled trade.
I'm astounded that it's not a minimum wage job now, right? I don't know. That's just kind of crazy to me. But hey,
hey, all it means right now, I'm smoking free weed, free good weed. That's the other thing. When we were coming up, if you got free weed, it was like, all right, what's wrong with it?
Right. This got a bunch of seeds in it.
No, this is straight up.
Or it didn't dry right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you got like a bunch of analog weed, or they?
Oh yeah, I got like
other stuff.
I got like I think I got 3 like. I think I got like 6 grams. I think I got 2 each
of different strains.
Oh yeah,
that's not bad. That's a healthy gift.
Oh yeah. Oh hey, breaking news.
Yeah, is it from your laptop?
Deathly Hallows and Tebow. Oprah does her last show. Beyonce had a baby, yo. It's a 12-month wrap up.
You know what? I'll just eat some Us Weeklies.
Thank you, Lemon.
But it's an hour long, like you wanted.
Thank you.
There you go.
Wait, what's an hour long? The wrap?
Yeah, she made an hour long.
An hour long. That's great. Well, yeah, maybe 2022 will mean a new laptop for you.
Oh, it's going to. Yeah, how long? It only took 8 minutes to load.
Exactly. I was going to say 5, but I think you're right. It was close.
Well, actually, since it was spinning, and I just said fuck it, and then it did something with like a forced reload of Safari, and then it just popped up like, okay, whatever.
I want somebody to run those like benchmark tests of new Macs up against what yours is doing right now.
Oh God, right?
You'd need like a fold out page to like show how you like it took this many milliseconds to process this file. Here's your laptop. And they just unfurl a spool of paper.
Throw it across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened to that
usually
comic
have these
device?
Calibrated for nanoseconds, so to get a whole minute on here took a yard. So,
well, see, the internet killed that comic device, right? Because it involves paper.
Yeah,
you don't see that too much anymore, where somebody rolls out a big roll of paper like a list.
Yeah, right. They'd say like, "Oh, Santa, this is all I want for Christmas," and then they'd unfurl it, and it would just keep going. Or I don't know, what would be another good?
Well, I guess the 2021 version of that would be like someone like taking their phone and just scrolling and scrolling.
I think mostly it's
scrolling.
It's doom scrolling, right? But I think mostly it was like a St. Peter joke, right? So like you get to the gate and St. Peter would read out.
Here's how many times you've masturbated. Right, that's would be for me. It's a huge piece of paper. Now he'd just be scrolling. Like, dude, did you ever? Did you see a dermatologist? Are you okay? Oh, hey, isn't this the year that a state legalized weed and then said, never mind? Or was that last year?
Which one?
South Dakota. Like, didn't it get voted in? But then this year, their Supreme Court or something said, no, it didn't.
I think, well, I don't know. The High Court in South Dakota sided with those arguments in a 4-1 decision, ruling that the measure, Amendment A, would have violated the state's requirement that constitutional amendments deal with just one subject. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember this one.
They found the loophole.
So we talked about this when the lower court ruled that they challenged it and went up to their Supreme Court, and they upheld the original thing. It was too broad, is what they're saying, so they're pushing it back.
Kind of like how they got the Kaz out of jail. They found the loophole.
What was Kaz's loophole?
It was something about how it was some technicality with how the trial was conducted, or something like that.
Yeah,
but there was something where someone did their law school homework, and the Kaz got out. I think it was something with how the evidence was. Now it's coming back. Something with how the evidence was presented. I think.
I don't know what the fuck happened this year.
Right. I mean, ever since the virus showed up, it seems like time has slowed down.
This is going to be our lost year.
Again? Lost year number 2?
I feel like 2020, we knew, it's not lost, we knew where it went. It was just weird.
To hell. Yeah, not much really happened?
Yeah, I mean, not a ton of news this year. And even given that, I mean, we're just going to skip over any kind of official weed news for this week because there's nothing going on over the holiday.
And you figured, again, I think we said this last week, you figured there'd been, with the blue team in charge, you figured there'd have been a lot more action this year.
You figured there'd be a lot more action on a lot more than just weed.
It's another conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. There were a shit ton of Marvel movies and television shows. I mean,
Like, is Marvel?
We did it.
Do you think they're ever getting concerned about oversaturation, or do the numbers say no? People keep consuming it. That's why they keep making it.
I think if you said that in like a Disney meeting, it would just sound like white noise to them. Over what? I know the word saturation, but I don't understand it in this context.
Right?
There's just no such thing.
I don't even see the purpose of the ScarJo movie, because didn't it like come out? Doesn't she like die in the movie? Like it's good. Like it's basically a one-off.
Well, I mean, the purpose was to be a one-off kind of goodbye movie. And also, oops, we've been meaning to do this for a while now, and we kind of killed off your character already, so it's kind of now or never.
Basically, they missed the money train, and they wanted to catch the last one, at least with that character, I guess.
Not really the money train. The woke train. It was, I mean, they had to release over 20 movies before they had one that had a female-led superhero.
But didn't they have Captain Marvel? Wasn't that down?
All right. That's right. That's right. She did get in under 20. Maybe, actually. It's kind of close there, because that came out in between.
I just remember, like, the reviews on it was she was all right, but if you said she was only all right, you were a misogynist, because you had to think she was great, because she was the first Marvel female lead.
Yeah, but no, she wasn't. You're right on the Captain Marvel thing. She should have been. That's ultimately, like, I think there were plans for a Black Widow movie, but it just wasn't.
No, I was talking about
any
Captain Marvel with that comment.
Oh, with that one? I don't know. She was okay.
That's what I'm saying. But if you said she was only okay, you were a misogynist, because she was the first Marvel female lead ever. That's one thing I remember about Captain Marvel is the critics were like, eh. But if you said that, you were bad. Sorry. But yeah, you think ScarJo would be the bigger target, though? Like, why not her first? That's like the one you could milk the most. I mean, if your goal is commerce, and if you're owned by Disney, it is. I mean, why not milk that cow for as much as you can? Was she just not available?
Yeah.
I mean, she was in the storyline.
I don't know.
Before then, right?
Right, but the thing with the character is that there's no bigger world to spin off for. Like, so when they introduce Captain Marvel, they get to introduce the Kree, and they get to introduce the Skrulls. So a couple different really well-known Marvel universe alien races, and I'm trying to think there was something else in there, but you kind of. That character introduction gives you a new franchise, essentially.
Yeah.
But with Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, that character doesn't really. I mean,
there's not much to spin off, is what you're saying?
The character has a very linear kind of path. She's part of the Avengers, but when she's not with the Avengers, she's kind of off doing her own thing. She doesn't have like a bat family of characters that, would come along with her.
Wait, isn't what's her name's character related to her?
There's the
Florence,
Yelena is her
whatever her name
sister.
is.
Yep, Florence Pugh plays her sister. Yep, and that's more of a handoff thing. Like, she's another Black Widow. So Scarlett Johansson's dead, and now
we have the Florence Pugh Marvel movies.
Possibly, I think, but she popped up in the Hawkeye thing, the Hawkeye series, which started off really hokey and then actually ended up really great. If it wasn't so uneven, it might have been my favorite thing that Marvel released this last year.
Hey, isn't there a movie that's out right now that is crossed universes?
No, what? What do you mean?
It's got a multiverse in it.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, the. I guess we can talk about the Spider-Man movie.
Wait, because isn't that
will
one step closer to Patton Oswalt's rant in Parks and Rec coming true?
No, because it's still inside the Marvel universe. All it's breaking through is like the barriers between the Marvel Studios and Disney-owned Marvel movies and everything that came before.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. And in 5 years, the Star Wars portal opens. Dude, I mean, I would not put it past Disney to that's the end game. They all merge.
Well, so at one point, like when the Solo movie came out, I think it was the director put in something about I don't think maybe it was a scene that got cut, or maybe it was just a offhand comment that he made in an interview. But there was inference made to of Lando Calrissian being originally from Earth, and Disney scrubbed that. They said no, absolutely not. There's no canonical reference to Earth in the Star Wars universe.
Seeing as Earth opens up a fucking shitload of possibilities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, the stories start off. What's the first thing that we learn about Star Wars? The very first piece of information we are presented in the very first Star Wars movie.
Trying to think of the scroll.
A long time ago.
Oh, yeah, on the galaxy far, far away. Yeah.
Just set aside the galaxy far, far away part and just a long time ago. Not like 50 years ago, right? Like a long time ago, like probably before, if Earth exists in the Star Wars universe, probably before there was intelligent life on it. So that doesn't really make sense. So I can understand. I mean, that just breaks.
Or there's like dinosaurs roaming around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Before there was intelligent life on Earth.
Are you saying dinosaurs? Are you saying dinosaurs aren't intelligent?
Okay,
Is that your official hot take?
Yes, they're not evolved thinking, like higher level intelligence. Human intelligence.
Dinosaur advocates are coming after you. You have paleontologists protesting you. Tyrannosauruses are people too.
Well, they're not.
Right? You get used to that digital weed. The smoothness of it. Too, you hit it different. It's like it's like when I tell people who smoke or when I hit my vape, like this ain't hitting a cigarette. You got to hit it different. And it's the same thing with a weed vape versus analog.
Well, the Spider-Man movie was good fun, though.
It seems to be the consensus.
It was absolute nonsense. It was literal hand-wavy storytelling.
It's just
like
member berry after member berry.
No, I mean, yeah, it was all based on that. Like all the villains came from different Spider-Man movies. They brought in, the Alfred Molina, who was Doc Ock. In the second Tobey Maguire movie, they had, what's his name, that played Green Goblin in the first one? What's his name? Really famous, scary face.
Oh, Dafoe? Willem
yes,
Dafoe?
Thank you.
Is Franco in it?
No.
Oh, still canceled?
Yeah. That's fine. We didn't need Franco.
Yeah,
I don't see where he would have fit in anyway.
Critics and audience with Rotten Tomatoes, pretty much. Critics at 90, audience at 95. That means generally it's a good movie. Well, not generally. I mean, generally means it is a good movie.
Yeah, the consensus is in on it, yeah. I think that it's probably going to land somewhere closer in the mid to high 80s once some of the initial hype wears off. People watch it a few more times and then they go, oh, yeah, actually, none of this really makes sense, but it is still fun. Like, come on. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, that it doesn't deserve a really great score, but what's No Country for Old Men right now?
Uh-huh.
Like, what? Let's look at our barometer for like what we're calling great movies that deserve 94, 95% ratings.
It is 93 with the critics and 86 with the audience.
There you go. So, is this movie absolutely hands down better than No Country for Old Men? No, absolutely. It's no contest. I mean, that's what I think is a great movie. And Spider-Man is a really fun movie.
Well, is this just for eating popcorn and cheering for Spider-Man? Is that what this movie's for?
Yeah, it does that. It absolutely accomplishes what it sets out to
maybe
do.
2021, this kind of movie we need.
Yeah. Yes. But could somebody have spent a little bit more time with the script and woven this stuff in a way that would make it durable through multiple viewings? Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'd still put it at like an 85. But either way you slice it, it was worth the money.
And no sexual assaulter / addict, James Franco. Did you see? We finally heard from him this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came out to say he was a sex addict, and he did bang some of the girls in his acting classes.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I don't think sex addiction is a real thing. I mean, I guess.
Hey, it worked. It got Tiger Woods out of his mess.
Well, the thing is that I think we need to redefine addiction, because we have this, like, the current Dr. Drew era of addiction definition hinges on doing something in light of consequences, right? You know,
Yes.
any behavior that's going to keep you from spending time with your family or being open with the people that you're close to or holding down a job, you know, but now we're kind of letting other people define that, right? So was this a problem for James Franco? Was this an addiction for him in a way that he couldn't hold down a real life because of him wanting to bang every hot chick that...
I don't know. I bet there's some dudes, it gets to a point where they could bang a different chick every night and probably do. Like, especially like when you're James Franco at that time, at his age, his level of success. You just probably walk the bar closest to where you live every day.
You could define it as addiction now, I guess, because there are negative consequences, right? Because, you know, he's losing work now because of this.
Yes.
So I don't see, if I'm James Franco, I don't see how I can't come out and say, oh yeah, I'm addicted to sex, because what's your other play here?
Yeah. Got to do something. You know, he probably was going to get an Oscar. And that shit came out and fucking probably, the Academy probably went, nope, never mind.
Well, I don't know. I think James Franco has some really great comedic chops, and he's decent enough in everything else. Kind of, you know, James Franco and Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm just not sure how good these guys are, right? Award-winning actors. I mean, fine actors.
Leo's always got some. Well, now half his age with him. Like, I think Leo's never been on Front Street. Maybe that's why. Leo has just always been about, I just crush a ton of hot ass all the time.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm talking about more like, you know, like Academy Award, at least nominated. In Franco's case. Like,
well, I think you learn growing up, just because artists are good doesn't mean they're good people. I mean, my example is always John Lennon.
No, I'm arguing that they're not really great artists. So they're just good-looking dudes that are really good at remembering stuff and spitting it back out. Leonardo DiCaprio was good in what's the movie that everybody's watching on Netflix now? Don't Look Up. That's Adam McKay's newest movie.
What you're saying is you think the handsomeness detracted from the fact that they were just okay actors?
I think the handsomeness adds to. I mean, I don't know. Look, it took him a lot longer to recognize Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, because he looks like he's been 40 for like 30 years.
Exactly. Yeah, ever since he started acting, he's played like public defender number 2.
He's been playing middle age.
Walks in, mustard stain on tie.
He's 25 years old playing 37.
I don't know. I just think like he really hams it up on the emotional scenes.
Who, Franco?
Franco, yes.
Well, yeah, he's got those baby blues, and he plays them up.
And that's why I think, you know, he's got a super expressive face overall, though, and I think it works really well for comedy.
I like his comedy,
but it comes off as saccharine and everything else. I mean, I like that Stephen King thing that he did on Hulu, where he has to like go back in time and stop the JFK assassination. It was a good story, and he was competent enough in that, but he damn near ruined it sometimes too. He just has so much cheese on him. I just want to scrape a layer off. Like, can we see a little bit of what's underneath? I don't know. The Adam McKay movie, Don't Look Up. Do you know what this is about?
I do not.
Yeah. So it's a farce. It's like a Wag the Dog. You remember that story where they, you know, start the fake war to cover up something? I can't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. You know the movie I'm talking about?
Oh, wasn't it called Wag the Dog?
Yeah, Wag the Dog. Yeah, that movie. But it's similar. in very much similar in tone. Well, maybe a little bit more over the top. And it's about a comet heading to Earth and trying to convince people that, like, you've got 6 months. We've got to figure this out, or this thing's going to kablooey everybody. And how it turns into, of course, it's a political thing about, there's no comet.
Oh, so it's like an allegory.
Yeah.
Of how things.
Yes. You see, the comet is COVID.
So this is someone thinking they're being clever, and then you're like, no, you're not really being as clever as you think.
No, yeah. I think it's a good movie. I mean, Adam McKay knows how to make a movie that flows and has a nice snappy pace to it, and it goes down easy. Even it's a little over 2 hours long. It doesn't really seem like it.
I prefer Adam McKay doing comedy.
And it has a really great cast. It's great ensemble, but it's just not funny enough.
Really? So this isn't it is a comedy?
Oh, it's it's a total farce. Yes, it's
allegedly
supposed to be a comedy. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm not saying there aren't parts where I laughed. I found the movie humorous, but it was more of like, yeah, that's totally how it would be. Like, and
there's no gut laughs,
right? And my thing is like if you're gonna do a farce, it needs to be funny first.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of part of the deal.
Not like, right. It's not some enlightened statement. It's just kind of an obvious thing. But you really need to focus on that, because that's what people need to take away primarily. And if they're engaged with the funny, then that sticks with them. So, like a good farce like Blazing Saddles, something where you're just kind of shocked by how brazen that movie is, and all the race jokes and everything, and then you turn around, you remember them and you repeat them with your friends and everything, but you don't really figure out until later. You've seen it a couple times, maybe you see it as an adult and you're like, oh, I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not like this movie might as well have had just stencil right over the comment, like COVID, or just stop the movie and have the director come in. You see the allegory here is that, like, it's just slapping you around. I mean, look, it's not, the movie's not an allegory for COVID per se. COVID is just the most recent thing that has bizarrely divided us down political lines, and he's definitely keeping it a broader allegory for the political nature of our current environment in general.
So he's trying to let you fill in the jokes instead of making jokes?
I guess.
Hey, man,
there's a lot of that.
Insert your own joke here, man.
Yeah,
that's lazy. Write a joke.
I mean, there's jokes in it. There just should be more.
Is that one thing? Rape? Burglary? Rape? Well, I like rape.
I think another good example is Shaun of the Dead, right? So,
that movie's. I was just thinking about that movie. I was thinking about Nick Frost and Simon Pegg haven't put out a movie in a while the other day.
So that movie, like, super solid comedy, keeps you laughing all the way through. Has an engaging story. It really zips along, and it has all the allegory in there too. It is a farce. It is about our nature. Think about, like, all the people in town that are completely oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah.
There's people right in front of them turning into zombies, and they're like, oh, too many pints. Sleep it off. They are in denial. So all that's in there, but it's the substructure of the movie that holds all the jokes in place, right? And this is, I don't know, Don't Look Up is like nothing but substructure. It you can see the skeleton of the whole movie right there in front of you.
You know what? The thought I had, it just came to me. The thought I had the other day about one of their movies was, when is Hot Fuzz going to be held up as a tool of the alt-right?
How so?
Because the enemies in the movie are all the people that get together and go talk about the greater good.
Yeah.
So when's it going to be as, and they end up taking out they're painted as the villains, and end up being taken. They could be painted as the left, right? And then it's used as
but It's hard to get that to really stick with people and become a good meme when you have to start with, so have you seen Hot Fuzz? Okay, so here's the plot of it. So
we have talked about a lot of things that we thought were going to be nuts and implausible that have come to be. So, I mean, who knows?
I'm not saying it's impossible, but when you already have the red pill, blue pill Matrix bullshit that's right there and everybody's seen it and knows exactly what the fuck you're talking about, then, no, Hot Fuzz is not going to have its moment. Because, I mean, honestly, people talk about this shit like, wait a minute. Let's stop for a moment. You know the Matrix is just a movie, right? And it's not real, right?
No, trust me, I had stoner friends.
Like, you think the Matrix is real? You think that it's real and that they made a movie about it?
Yeah.
It's real and they made a fucking movie about it. And everybody saw it and it's still real.
That's what they would do, man. Emperor's New Clothes, man. I hung out with those people. They did a lot of drugs.
Look, those were like, teenage and early 20s idiots like we all were at some point. There's people out there that are full-grown adults, holding down real jobs and shit, responsible for families, out there driving around 2-ton trucks, believing this shit.
Dude.
Talking like the Matrix is real.
There are people who think zombies are real. Dude, QAnon. All right? Enough said. The shit QAnon believes.
I watched like maybe 15 minutes of that Matrix reboot.
Is it any good?
Well, I only watched 15 minutes of it.
Oh, so no.
It was just
is Keanu in it?
It was just the same thing. I didn't see Keanu in it.
Is Larry in it? No, he died, right?
No, but there's a new Morpheus. So they cast somebody else.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Becoming a magician takes thousands of hours. Right, Ashley?
Oh, I'm not a magician. I'm a design specialist at the Container Store.
But you transform closets and pantries.
Well, I turn your most frustrating spaces into ones you love.
With a magic wand?
With Alpha, our customizable, adjustable, and affordable shelving and drawer system.
The amazing Ashley! Making daily frustration disappear.
Just doing my job.
Transform your space with Alpha and save 20% on purchases over $500. Get started with your free design at the Container Store today.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
So Fishburne, he gets to do.
He's too old.
He gets to do the MacGruber reboot. They don't want him for Matrix anymore. He's in the new MacGruber.
You saw that, huh? It's good.
I think I'm about halfway through. They dropped the whole season at once. And yeah, well, did you like the movie?
I've never seen the movie, but it's
dude. The movie's actually really good.
From the clips I've heard and seen, I mean, I think I would like it.
I think you would too. And it's just the thing is, like the whole MacGyver thing, that was just the SNL skit. All they really keep from that is the vest and the mullet. The whole MacGruber movie is a total farce about. It's making fun of all those action 80s movies. So it's got, all the cheesy dialogue and the over-the-top violence and the, graphic sex for no reason.
I mean, it's...
And the TV show is exactly that. I mean, they don't cut out swear words or anything. Like, it's just as raunchy as the show.
So basically, it's awesome. Nice to check it out.
It is pretty awesome, yeah. If you
got, Will
you got
Forte,
Peacock,
right?
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig's in it.
Oh, Kristen Wiig is marvelous in it. She is amazing, and it's not easy to steal scenes from what's his nuts.
Oh, Will Forte. So it's Will Forte, Kristen Wiig. You said Larry Fishburne's in it. Cowboy Curtis. Who else?
Cowboy, yeah. Ryan Philippe is in the movie, yeah, and he reprises his role. He's kind of a sidekick character. Originally, so the villain in the movie was Val Kilmer, so he's obviously not really working right now.
So I'm guessing he doesn't talk.
So, well, no, he didn't come back, asshole. No.
Oh, he was a villain in the movie. Okay.
He was a villain in the movie, yes. So they didn't bring him back because, he's not working. So they got his character's name was something Queeth. No, that's the new one. It was Cunt. That's what it was. Cunt. And the new guy, played by Billy Zane, is Queeth. So that pretty much tells you all you need to know about the maturity level of the humor.
Okay, yeah, that's
what you can look forward to.
Right up my alley.
Yeah.
High school humor, check.
So, yeah, I was surprised not only how true they stayed to the original, but how entertaining they kept it.
Oh, it means it's well written. I know.
Yeah.
You've never steered me wrong on comedies.
Well, speaking of that, if you get that HBO Max going again, check out Southside.
Why does it sound familiar?
So I didn't know about this show. I guess it's been out for a while. I'm gonna look it up because I don't know nothing about this cast.
It sounds like I think Adam Carolla talked to somebody on this show in December.
It's created by Bashir Salahuddin and Diallo Riddle. Filmed and set in Inglewood area of Chicago. I'm reading this from the Wikipedia. And yeah, I think you're right. I think they were on...
who's in it?
Well, they star in it themselves along with Kareem Young, Quincy Young, nobody. I mean, yeah. I've never heard of... I don't recognize any of the cast from anything else. But it's my elevator pitch for it is Friday meets Office Space.
Really?
They work in...
Okay.
They work in a place that's like a rent-to-own type of place. Like around here we got Aaron's. Mm-hmm. Where they charge you a premium and they'll come and get the shit if you stop payment on it.
Or maybe I've seen commercials for it too.
How many seasons are there? There's only 2 seasons out there, so you could blow through. They're not long. There's 20 episodes total. I hope so. Yeah, the second season just dropped in November, so that's why they were out there promoting it recently. I hope they get a third season on this show. I haven't made it through the first season yet, but
you're saying it's good.
All right. I'll give you a little taste. I'm going to pull this up.
Thank you, kind sir. Can I have 5 more mild sauces? I really love the stuff.
Hey, Donovan, your guy over here talking about he want 5 mild sauces.
5? Nigga, you need 5 mild sauces? This is always you, 3-piece white. No, ain't happening today. No.
Yeah, I'm like a loyal customer, you think?
Yeah, everybody a loyal customer, nigga. It's Harold's. Look around.
Always.
Thank you, young man.
You're welcome.
Can I please have a couple of extra mild sauces?
Yeah, ma'am, you can have as many as you want. Get us some mild sauce. Just grab a handful. You can have all the mild sauces, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How did she get extra mild sauce? You just made a whole speech about mild sauce.
She a black woman. Her life is hard enough.
All right.
You know what? This doesn't seem fair.
Okay, fair. All right, here's fair, right? You got old and new mild sauce stains on your clothes. How about you just take that chicken, rub it on your outfit, nigga?
I'm gonna call the Better Business Bureau on you.
No. Okay, look, for real. If you want mild sauce, just get it from your mama, because she a hoe.
Wait, how does my mother being a prostitute get me in the possession of more mild sauce?
Okay, that is a great follow-up question. You are a very intelligent young man. Mm-hmm. Your mama sucked dick for mild sauce, you weak ass nigga. That's my time.
Not funny, guys.
I was born on the south side. I was raised on the south side.
There you go.
I get into that. I did like his question. How does my mother being a prostitute get me more hot sauce?
Yeah.
And she had a good answer for it.
I think, what else did I watch? We talked about the Spider-Man thing. There was 4 things. Southside. What else did we talk about? We talked about another show, too.
Weed.
Oh, Don't Look Up.
Oh, yes. Well, that's a show? I thought that was a movie.
No, that was a movie. Oh, Hawkeye. That was the other thing that I wanted to bring up. Because that was probably my favorite one. Well, it ended strong.
Did you say it was lame at the beginning? And then
it was very lame at the beginning, yes. It ended extremely strong.
Is it because he's a lame character? I mean, like one of the weakest?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, okay, so they actually lay it out in the show. In the final episode, the Kate Bishop version, the new Hawkeye that we see in this show, is talking about why she was so attracted to, not in a sexual way, but attracted to the idea of Hawkeye in the first place. Why, out of all those heroes that they saw fighting aliens all over New York, he was the one who seemed most heroic. And they even show a little clip from that first Avengers movie where I think he jumps off of, I think it's Iron Man, grabs him and like throws him at an alien, and he jumps on their little glider thing and like fights him and blows that up, and then jumps off of it, and somebody else catches him. And she's like, you don't have any powers. You can't fly. But there you are, like jumping off of buildings and shit to save people's lives. Like everybody else had like suits and powers and shields, and you're out there with a string and a stick killing aliens.
He's like, that's right.
And he's not. I mean, like, at no point is he ever
Hawkeye, yay.
a burden. He's not a burden to the Avengers. He's not like, all right, people, let's all gather around Hawkeye and protect him, because he's the one without powers.
So he's just a regular guy who wanted to be an Avenger. He's just a random badass.
Yeah.
He's good enough to be an Avenger.
I was hoping that they would actually get into more of his backstory, because they haven't talked about his backstory for his character at all, really.
How'd you get to be so badass?
Yeah. Well, in the comics, he was a villain.
What, that turned and became good?
Yeah. Well, he was part of Captain America's reform program. So the original Avengers didn't involve Captain America. It was who was it? It was Iron Man, Thor, somebody else, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. And they all came together to fight the Hulk when the Hulk got out of control. And then they ended up figuring out that the Hulk wasn't so bad. So the Hulk joined the team. And then they found Captain America and thawed him out. And he joined. And then he became the leader. And then the Avengers disbanded. And this was very early on. This was in the first, couple years of the comic. And they disband. And then Captain America goes out and finds a new team. But he doesn't want heroes. He wants people he wants to do what's the term that I'm looking for? Like
get some renegade villains.
Right. Well, no. Type of programs for people who get out of jail, and they're trying to
like a halfway house for villains.
Yeah, kinda. Right. He wants people that have something to prove. So that's where Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch and Vision and Black Widow all come onto the team. So Black Widow was an ex-Soviet spy. She was a trained killer and assassin. Hawkeye was a villain. He was trained by the swordsman, and who was like a villain of Captain America's, I believe. And Scarlet Witch and Vision... No, I'm sorry. Wait, I said Vision. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, not the Vision. He wasn't introduced yet. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, brother and sister, daughter and son of Magneto, and they were on the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants team.
There's a lot of shit going on.
Yes. So anyway, what the fuck are we talking about that for? Oh, I guess because we were talking about the Hawkeye show. So the other interesting thing that the Hawkeye show does, and also the Spider-Man show. So we knew Spider-Man was going to show us all the villains from the other movies. And then we were also going to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come back. I guess we should say spoilers, but this is coming out 2 weeks after, and everybody's talking about this shit. If you didn't know those cats were in this movie, sorry.
Dusted off Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, Tobey's back in there. He's looking a little rough. But, it's been, 20 years now since those movies?
Yeah, man, he ain't no baby face anymore.
Yeah.
He's in his 40s.
He looks like a 40-year-old man. But he was good. I actually even enjoyed Andrew Garfield quite a bit, even though I didn't enjoy those movies.
Isn't he, considered the worst Spider-Man?
Yeah, but... so I saw it in a theater that was packed, and it was that is kind of the way to see it. I mean, I'm sure people are still out there packing the theaters to see this. If you can see it with a decent sized theater, then you feel like or whatever. COVID, you know what to do, right?
Yeah.
If you've already made the decision that you're fine with going out to the movies, go do it, because it's that type of experience, and. it definitely heightened parts of it for me that might not have hit as well if I was just watching it at home, like the Andrew Garfield stuff, because there's two big reveals about in the middle third of the movie where Andrew Garfield and then Tobey Maguire are revealed. And so they do the first one, and everyone's like, oh, it's another Spider-Man. And, Andrew Garfield steps out of the portal, and I was like, oh, it's the bad one. But there was a huge part of the crowd.
That's a soundtrack.
There was a huge part of the crowd behind me, mostly girls, it sounded like, that were like, they were so thrilled to see him back as Spider-Man. That was their Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, wasn't he from MTV or some shit?
I mean, out of any of the Spider-Men, even the current one who I love, Andrew Garfield's hands down the handsomest. He's almost too pretty to be Spider-Man. I think that was part of the problem that I had with him. Like, really, you're Spider-Man and some sort of struggling side. Why don't you just be a male model and get money that way?
Maybe like Spider-Man.
He was just the least believable for me. But yeah, people like him. And ultimately, he wasn't the problem with those movies. It was the writing. But what they also reveal in that movie is the tie-in of the Netflix movies, or at least the Daredevil series, because Matt Murdock is a lawyer for Peter Parker in this. Now, Matt Murdock is the character that he's the superhero Daredevil, the blind lawyer, and they brought I forget his name, really great actor who plays him, but I'm just blanking on his name right now. So he has kind of a cameo. And not only that, but Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays the Kingpin, he's in the Hawkeye series, reprising his role as the Kingpin.
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's good at anything.
Absolutely, and he's fantastic.
Hey, man, it seems like if you're an actor now and you want to get paid, you got to weasel into the Marvel universe somehow, huh?
Well, he's a great Kingpin. I mean, he really just embodied that role. And the version that we see in the Hawkeye show is even more like the comics, an even more exaggerated version of it. This is very much his battle. He has this whole battle scene with the new Kate Bishop version of Hawkeye, where they go toe to toe at the end of the Hawkeye series, and it very much reminds me of that Darth Vader scene at the end of Rogue One, where we finally get to see Darth Vader just whipping through a bunch of dudes with his lightsaber.
Yeah,
just we get to see what was always implied in other movies.
That was pretty
cool. Of like, ooh, Darth Vader, he really kicks ass. He's a super Jedi or whatever the fuck. And you're like, okay, yeah, we've seen him choke people and he looks scary. But that was the first time where we really got to see him tear into people. And very much the same thing with the Kingpin character. When he finally shows up at the end of the Hawkeye series, he means business and he's fucking pissed. And Vincent D'Onofrio just does that so well.
Private Pile.
Yes.
Always be Private Pile to me.
We were talking, I was talking to my mom the other day about movies in general, and we started talking about Stanley Kubrick movies. And she had never seen until just recently A Clockwork Orange. And she's like,
what?
I did not like that.
Well, yeah, because you need to be younger and on drugs, for starters.
Yeah. But she was like, she's like, it wasn't even the sex or drug stuff. It was like, just so violent.
Because you're under 25.
Right? And then we're talking about other Kubrick movies, and she's talking about how much she loved Full Metal Jacket. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's the same fucking movie as A Clockwork Orange. It's about the same fucking things. It's got the same basic characters in it. The only difference is that those fuckers in Full Metal Jacket are state sanctioned to do what they do. And the thugs in A Clockwork Orange aren't. But it's just about young dudes running wild, creating their own rules.
Guess I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right. The backdrops are different.
It's one of the rare times that he actually repeats himself as a director.
Yeah, but I think too, like I think Clockwork Orange, you have to be more in like the coming of age time of your life to get it.
I think so. Yeah, like, I definitely get that. I mean, that
it's
book,
like an age window.
That was definitely the I found that book as a teenager and loved it. And I didn't find it through, I was a Kubrick fan, but I read the book before I had ever seen the movie, and I love the movie, but it just doesn't compare to the book. But yeah, I mean, it hit at the right time for me. I think if I had never heard of it until now, maybe it wouldn't affect me the same way.
And I think for your mom, Full Metal Jacket, she came of age. Vietnam was, that was like the thing when she was younger. So she probably was able to relate to it more.
It was crafted in a language that she was built to understand. Yeah. It was speaking to her generation
for sure.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Oh, dude, the gunny scenes. They're so, and then too, knowing how they were made, just knowing that they eventually just let that a lot of that was improvised.
Yeah.
They were just like, they didn't cast an actor and teach him to be a drill sergeant. They cast a drill sergeant and taught him to be an actor.
Yeah. Well, you only need them to do one thing, really. Like,
yeah,
it kind of makes sense.
I didn't know they stacked piles of shit that high. Do you suck cocks? Oh, I like you. You come over to dinner and fuck my sister. Just so many one-liners.
I mean, that whole movie, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Two Live Crew got a hit out of it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, John Madden died.
Yes, PlayStations will be flying at half-mast.
All those Madden discs will be spinning at half speed tonight.
Right. Well, really, I mean, we're to the point. Do you even go out and buy Madden anymore? You just download it.
I'm downloading most of it, and I'm to the point where, I've got that aging PS4. I don't even have the Pro. I'm looking at what the next gen is offering, and I don't even know if I want to invest in any hardware anymore, much less, get the physical disc.
That's kind of how I was when my 3 burnt out. And looking at the 4, I was like, what? Like, my TV's going to do all of this soon.
$10 a month, you can get the service like NVIDIA. They do GeForce Now, right? So all you're doing is basically renting a really high-spec gaming computer, and they stream it to whatever device you want. So you can literally there's TVs now that have apps that you can directly access it to and hook up a controller to. You can do it on your computer. I can do it on my tablet. And it's not like there's a huge lag or it's a sacrifice. Like, it's like you're there gaming with a $1,000 rig.
Like, yeah, when I gave up the Ghost on my PS3, like, I was like, smart TVs are a thing. Why would I do this? Why would I replace this?
And with the availability now or lack thereof of the PS5s and the Xbox systems, I started looking at PC again, and because of cryptocurrency, using all the graphics cards for mining, the graphics cards are almost impossible to find at a reasonable price. My oldest just did a full upgrade to actually get a rig that would allow them to play, just your average big release game like, an Assassin's Creed or something like that. And it was a $400 graphics card. But it was also, in order to support that, a $200 motherboard and a $200 processor and, everything else that goes with it. So it's like you're dropping well over $1,000 just to get something that's about as comparable to what I have in that PS4, frankly.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, why own hardware these days?
Yeah.
Just stream it. I don't need to own any of this shit.
Yeah. Let someone else use the server.
Yeah.
Maintain it, place it when it burns out. It's all just a conduit.
Yeah. But your RAM and your GPU aren't compatible. Not your problem. You're not the one that has to, take it into Geek Squad and figure out why your system isn't running right.
Your fucking fan burns out. Let them replace it.
Your fucking liquid cooling system sprung a leak. I've been doing all kinds of maintenance on it. I got too many fucking computers, man. I'm running 2 of them just to do this show. One does the recording and everything, and the other one just does Skype.
Well, I mean, Well, there's a third one running here. See what we do to bring you this show every week, everybody?
We run a lot of watts. We flip a lot of bits, a lot of ones and zeros.
Yeah, a binary going down right now.
About to flip into 22. Wonder what that's going to be like. I don't think 2021 was all that bad, but I don't feel like bragging about the good things that happened to me this year because I feel like that's an anomaly. Most people had a shit year.
Hey, take it where you can get it, man. Yeah. I just hope we get a handle on the virus in 2022, or at least just at this point, right? We got to figure out how to live with it, right? It ain't going away.
Exactly. My hope for 2022 and COVID is that this is a year where we can start having frank discussions about what kind of supplements can we take? What is zinc really going to do for us? What is vitamin D really going to do for us?
Yeah.
What can we do to defend ourselves preemptively from this disease? Let's talk about weight. Let's talk about health.
Uh-oh, can't do that.
Let's talk about preventative things. I'm all for the vaccines. I got my vaccines. Yeah. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term solution. So what is the long-term solution?
About to get
preventative solutions.
Well, yeah, I was just listening to a podcast where they were talking about how COVID isn't doing in Africa what you think it would be doing because a lot of people over there take malaria medications that are considered controversial over here.
Yeah. Also, you know what they do? Get a shit ton of vitamin D.
It's true. They're outside all the time.
That not only that, both in their exposure and their diet, they tend to have a lot more vitamin D in their system than in other areas.
Science. Hey, if the trend is going to be what Omicron is doing, I'm for it because it's coming out pretty much that Omicron is like COVID light. Yep. Cool. If it's going to like the next mutation is going to be like, hey, man, whatever works. Whatever makes my fucking job easier. God damn it, people. Go back to work. Dude, I'm hiring people that aren't even showing up. They're like going through the process to get hired. Sending a stranger a copy of their ID and social security card. And then just not showing up.
So what is that about?
I don't understand it. I was on a conference call today where the owner of the company is saying, pay people $20 an hour if you have to. Like, we're not paying shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling people what we're going to pay. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, like, all right. Like, I don't understand it. I also don't understand how I have to have been asymptomatic by now and not known it. I'm around.
Oh, same.
First of all, it has just been around me. Like, almost everybody I know, it has had it. And I am constantly around two demographics that do not statistically get the vaccine. Like, I have to. And I've already had, like, two people that I supervise get. One person I was around last week, and I get a call Friday night. Hey, I got COVID. Cool. But I wasn't around them for longer than 15 minutes for less than 6 feet. So,
yeah. Well, I think you can get an antibody test, right? You can figure out if you've had it at some point in the past.
I don't know.
I don't know if the vaccine fucks with that. If it sees the vaccine as antibody, I don't know.
I have just had just tons of near misses of being around people who've ended up having it. Like my mom and my sister went to a wedding a couple weeks ago. Email goes out a few days after. Oh, hey, a couple people at the wedding. Like, oh, neat. Like at this point, I just figured I've had it and have been asymptomatic, or it's just a numbers game. Like, it's coming. Like, just brace yourself. It's happening.
Everybody's going to have to get it at some point.
Right.
And I just hope that before they get it, they are as healthy as they can be.
Well, from what I've heard, if you've had your vaccine and you get it, it makes you...
You're a podcast listener. Our audience, they listen to podcasts. They get to hear the ads out there. And I'm sure Michigan is no different than... well, maybe it's somewhat different than other areas, but every state is pushing these vaccines. And the latest campaign is like the kids, right? And not just get your kids vaccinated, but we have to hear from the kids.
Oh, yeah.
About how I don't like for to be sick. You shut the fuck. Nobody asked you. You fucking ate. Where'd you go to school? What's your doctorate in? Yeah. I'm not interested in your opinion.
I want to get the vaccine because I don't like to be sick. No shit.
Yeah. I just want to go back to soccer. Shut the fuck up. I'll tell you when you can go back to soccer.
First of all, it's December. Shut up.
Yeah.
If you're going to any soccer, it's indoors.
Yeah. I don't know who that If you have gotten to this point in life and you're like, no way am I getting that vaccine, you think that a cute kid on a commercial on the podcast that you like is going to change your mind.
Right.
Oh, geez. I didn't want to get the vaccine because of, the chip and all that. And I want the government tracking me, but God damn it, that kid sounded so cute. I want him to go back to soccer. All right. I'll do it. I'll do it for the kids. Not happening. It's not going down that way. Instead, you could dump those millions and millions of dollars that you're pouring into podcast advertising and put in there a message like, get outside. Start working off some of that weight. Here's what you can do to be healthy. So if you get hit with COVID, you get hit with it lightly.
Hey, but Aaron.
And it doesn't put you in the hospital.
People who are perfectly healthy, except they're 100 pounds overweight, have been dying from getting COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I got a good case study, man.
I'm not trying to hate on fat people. Look, I love my fat friends.
Hey, man, I'm from fat people. I'll be on your side all day.
I love my fat friends. I love my fat family. I just wanted you all. I'm not trying to call people out. I'm just like,
it's a pre-existing condition.
Why aren't we talking about this enough?
Because America and body image, blah, 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 blah. You know why? Because then we're stigmatizing people who are overweight, and we're not allowed to do that in our current culture. It's fucking dumb. It's a health condition. Trust me. It killed my father. I am sure of it. He died from complications of being overweight. I was telling you, that is the one area I never want to be like my dad, is health-wise. The man was at least 300 pounds the whole time I knew him. And he was 5'6". All right? He died from kidney and liver complications. You don't think it was from that shit?
Yeah.
I tell you, you're wrong. Your organs work harder. It is a fact. Your liver, your heart, your lungs, everything works harder when you are overweight.
Strap another car on top of your existing car and drive it around and see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
How fast your tires going to wear out? How long is that engine going to run with a whole extra car on top of it?
Strap a 50-pound bag of flour to the front of you.
Yeah. See how your knees feel.
Yeah. You think you're moving quick as you were? Yeah, you think it's easy to get up, sit down? You don't think you're breaking a little bit more of a sweat?
And look, on an individual level, again, I'm not calling anybody out. Like, people struggle with their weight. I get it. And it's not a cut and dry thing of like, oh, I ate too much and now I just need to not eat so much. There's so much more that goes into it than that. I understand that. I'm not talking about an individual level. I'm just talking about what we could do as a society if we actually just openly talked about it. We could move the needle on it, literally.
People also want to bring up breakthrough infections. I have known people who have gotten to breakthrough infections.
Yeah.
And you know what the common thread is? Kids.
Not in the hospital.
Kids. That's how they got it. It wasn't like they were out. Their kids brought it home. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like they were out in public and whatever. And no, it was the little petri dishes that they have that are sentinels and go out and bring diseases brought back home COVID.
Well, I know we had like a whole year without the flu. The flu's back. I got a little taste of it, and it's not nice. The new flu strain, that was a lot. It was like a week, and it didn't like take me out for a week, but I definitely felt it for a week.
Well, yeah, because this year everyone's not masked up. So the flu's back. Last year we were all wearing masks, so no flu.
So anyway, hopefully going into 2022, we'll talk less about COVID.
Yeah. And in 2021, beating up fat people for 5 minutes. Not really. Yeah. Can we just 2022? Let's just learn how to live with it. Move on. And is this where we move on as a show?
I think this is where we move on
into 2022. Maybe we're already even there. You never know. But hey, thanks everybody. It's another year of the Weedsman. Another year. The downloads still go up. We wouldn't keep doing this if the downloads weren't still going up. So we thank everybody who has listened in 2021. If you're new, welcome. If you've been on board, thank you. And tell people about it. That's how you can help spread the Weedsman throughout the land, throughout the world. Really, that's the cool thing about podcasts. We're not just stuck to our little spot here in Michigan. We're global. So find us on social media at the Weedsman 420 on Twitter, at the Weedsman Podcast on Instagram. And go to ChristopherMedia.net, hit the Amazon banner and the PayPal button if you'd like to help us out. And wherever you listen to us, rate us and review us. That is how you help people find us. So thank you for listening in 2021, and stay high.
Stay high. Happy New Year.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.